Here we go. This is a good one to double that up.
Welcome
Back it
to
up
the
with something.
SIGGRAPH 2021 Technical Papers
Sigma
trailer.
sum. What is
We'll
Sigma
present
sum?
clips showing just a few of
If
the
that kid
exciting research
believed in
results
it,
in the
then you
Technical
invented a
Papers
system,
program.
and it's not wrong.
Track your simulated particles more accurately.
Some LiDAR's like, I don't need your
+2
fucking
+4
help. He was
+8,
doing just
and
fine
continue
in the
on and
stone
on,
mill
adding
with the
the next
guys
power
in the
of 2
pyramid
up
before
to
some
infinity.
motherfucker was
This
like,
might
I
seem
need a
crazy,
semi to
but
help.
There's a
No,
sense in which this
the
infinite
same
sum
damn number.
equals -1. If you're like me, this feels strange or obviously false.
Which you would think that when
first
your more
see it.
population goes
But I
up.
promise
Well,
you, by the end
according
of
to
this
the
video,
spring,
you and I will make it make sense. To do this, we need to back up, and you and I will walk through what it might feel like to discover convergent infinite sums.
I'm gonna make more
those
money
ones
on
that
the
at least seem to
timeline.
make
I want
sense.
more
To
on the
define
thing,
what
but
they
you had
really
enough,
mean,
and you were bigger than
we need to
everybody else
discover
around
this
here,
crazy
except for that
equation
damn
and
king over
stumble
there,
upon
Solomon.
new forms of math where it makes sense. Imagine that you are an early mathematician in the process of discovering that 1/2 plus 1/4 plus 1/8 plus 1/16, on and on up to infinity, whatever that means, equals 1. And imagine that you needed to define what it means to add
One of
infinitely many
those.
things
Top of the
for your
world,
friends
Bill
to take you
Gates or
seriously.
Tim Cook or
What would
that
that feel
fucking
like?
cowboy down the road.
Frankly, I have no
If I
idea.
put them
and I
next to
imagine
each
that
other,
more than anything, it
You
feels
bet
like
your
being wrong
ass
or
there's a
stuck
black
most
hole
of the time.
somewheres in there. I'm
But
about to
I'll
figure
give
out
my
who's
best guess
closest
at one
to
way
it.
that the successful parts of it might go.
The wobbles. That's what the
One
vector
day,
positions
you're
correlate
pondering
to.
the nature of
One
distances
spot.
between objects,
That.
and how no matter how close two things are, it seems that they can always be brought a little bit closer together without touching. Fond of math as you are, you want to capture this paradoxical
Astrology?
feeling with numbers.
Definitely
So you
chemistry and
imagine placing the
mathematics.
two objects on the number
Mathematics,
line, the first
economics.
at 0, the
Economics,
second at
macro,
1.
micro, micro,
Then,
macro.
you march the first
Up,
object
down,
towards the
down,
second,
up,
such that
being
with each
positive
step,
and
the
negative
distance
charge,
between
high or
them is cut in
low,
half.
on the breadboard. It's electrical
You
engineering.
keep track of the numbers this object touches during its march, writing down 1/2, 1/2 plus a fourth,
Now,
1/2 plus a
in a
fourth
given
plus an
day-
eighth, and so on. That is, each number is naturally written as a slightly longer sum with
33
one
and
more
30.
power of 2 in it.
666.
As such, you're tempted to say that if these numbers
Like an
approach
888,
anything,
75.
we should be able to write
You
this
know,
thing down
what
as a sum
does
that contains the
2
reciprocal
wrong
of
mean on
every
neural
power
net,
of
damn
2.
it?
On the other hand, we can see geometrically that these numbers approach 1. So what you want
It means
to
I'm
say
here.
is
So
that
it means,
1
oh,
and
you're
some
close to
kind
it. It's
of infinite
impossible
sum
to go
are the
causal.
same thing.
It is in possible
If
to
your
get there.
education was too
But we
formal,
live there in
you'd
the
write this
stone mill
statement
every
off as
day.
ridiculous. Clearly, you can't add infinitely many things. No human, computer, or physical thing ever could perform such a
Stock
task.
market.
If, however, you approach math with a healthy irreverence,
Look,
you'll
Joe.
stand brave in the face of ridiculousness and try to make sense
You
out of
are
this
the
nonsense that
one,
you
and
wrote
if
down,
you assume to
since it
tell
kinda
me
feels
God
like
is
nature gave
anything
it to
else,
you.
I'm gonna come in
So
your
how
office
exactly
and burn
do
your house
you,
down.
dear mathematician, go about defining
So you get
infinite
out here with
sums?
that's what that is. Now I need
Well-practiced
the
in math
sectors
that
to
you
what
are,
that is.
you know that
8 and
finding the right
half.
definitions is less about generating new
It's
thoughts
hydrogen,
than it is
helium,
about dissecting
copper,
old
iron,
thoughts. So you
silica
go back
with
to how you
sulfur
came
in
across
it.
this
Over
fuzzy
time,
discovery.
make it a bluestone.
At no point did you
At
actually
no point
perform
did that
infinitely
really
many
correlate to the
operations.
block that was on the table, the system that was
You
in
had a
there
list
to
of
start
numbers,
creeping
a list
into
that
this
could
thing
keep
to
going
damn
forever
near
if
be
you had the
moving at
time.
fucking sea.
And each number came from a perfectly reasonable
beaten tree.
finite sum. You
Shade
noticed
under
that
gravity.
the numbers in this list approach 1. But what do you mean
Right-hand
by
rule.
approach? It's not just that the distance between each number and 1 gets smaller.
First move, I
because,
don't care
for that
whether it's
matter,
this one,
the
this
distance
one,
between
this one,
each
or this
number
one
and
off
2
of this.
also gets smaller.
But it has to be one of those,
After
because at
thinking
least
about
in
it,
those
you
operators I
realize
can
what
tell
makes
what it
one
is. I'll
special
give you, it
is
might
that
be
your
an
numbers can
operator
get
around that. Maybe
arbitrarily
one of these
close to 1,
equations got it wrong,
which
but
is to
that's
say,
what
no
wrong
matter
would look
how
like there
small your
over
desired
averages.
distance,
Once I went to the
1/100th,
stone
1
mill, second day I
or
went to the
1 over the
stone
largest
mill,
number you
third
could
day.
write down, if you go down
Harder
the
than a
list
fucking
long
Grand
enough,
Obelisk
the
build.
numbers will eventually
Lighter
fall
than a
within
feather.
that tiny, tiny distance of 1.
Next thing you know, you're holding the pharaoh's head under the water of the
this might seem like a clear
denial.
way to solidify what you mean by approach, but as a first-time endeavor, it's actually incredibly clever. Now you pull out your pen and scribble down the definition for what it means for an infinite sum to equal
Like
some
you
number.
thought that I was
say
gonna walk out
X.
there and did that. You
It
planned
means
that.
that when you generate a list of numbers by cutting
That's
off
how
your sum at
fucking
finite
dumb you
points,
are when it comes to terracotta.
the numbers in this list approach X in the sense that no matter how small the distance you
If I had an
choose,
army,
at some point down the list,
any one of those
all the
guys
numbers
out
start
there
falling
in the
within that
peacocks, right?
distance
I had an
of
army.
X.
This is what that army would be.
In doing this,
Now,
you just
I can take
invented
off
some
soft
math.
with it, I'll take
But
out
it
the
never felt like you
IRS
were pulling
with it,
things
I'll
out of
take
thin
out
air.
Common Core
You were
with
just
it.
trying to justify
And they don't need to
what it
know
was
any
that
of
the
it.
universe gave you in the first place.
They gave you the problem.
You might wonder if you
Fucking,
can
I
find
identified
other,
it
more
as a
general
problem. I
truths about
labeled
these
it to be the
infinite sums that you just
definition of
invented.
this.
To do so,
Apparently
you
China.
look for where you made any arbitrary
All of it, the whole
decisions.
thing. The
For
rice
instance, when you were
farm.
shrinking the distance between your objects,
Next thing you know,
cutting
there was
the
no
interval into
borders.
pieces of size 1/2, 1/4,
They
etc.,
selling rice to
you
America.
could have
That make
chosen
it
a
America's
proportion
fault.
other than 1/2.
Australia
You
and
could have
Russia.
instead cut your interval into pieces of size 9/10 and 1/10, and then cut that rightmost piece into the same proportions, giving you smaller pieces of size 9/100 and 1/100.
Go to sleep.
Then cut that tiny piece of size 1/100 similarly. Continuing on, you'd see that 9/10.
It's like, well, why
plus
don't you do this?
9/100
Why do I need to do
plus
it?
9/1000.
Fucking
on and on
done.
up to
You want me to
infinity
just N1 half the
equals 1.
differential? Well, if
A
I
fact
just
more
N1
popularly
half it
written as
without this
0.9
in the
repeating
key,
equals 1.
doesn't matter.
To all
But
of
see
your
how
friends
long
who
this
insist that
is? How
this
many
doesn't
fucking
equal
steps
1 and
there
it
are?
just
I mean, they're
approaches
literally
it,
just by
you now
fundamental
just
practice,
smile, 'cause you know
regardless
that
of
with
what it
infinite
is,
sums,
0 or
to
1.
approach and to equal
I just do
mean the
this,
same
and then I
thing.
find an arbitrary line. But the problem with that tree right there is
To be
it's still the
general
next
about
step.
it, let's say
1
that you
half,
cut your interval
1
into
quarter.
pieces
What
of
is it?
size
Close
p
to 1,
and
close
1
to
minus
0?
p, where p represents
Riemann zeta
any number
function?
between 0 and 1.
Uncertainty principle?
Cutting the piece of size p in similar proportions, we now get pieces of
And
size
then I'd
p
have
times
a
1
book
minus p
better than the
and p
fucking
squared.
Davites sitting right here. Short
Continuing
order.
in this fashion, always cutting up the rightmost piece into those same proportions, you'll find that 1 minus p
Fucking
plus
Necronomicon
p
anyways.
times 1 minus p plus p squared times 1 minus p, on and on, always adding p to the next
Get
power
the kid
times 1
fired
minus
up
p.
for it. You know you need to
equals
Van
1.
Esch manuscript this. What's that mean?
Dividing
The Book
both
of the
sides
Devil?
by
No,
1
it means
minus
you need
p,
to fucking
we get
overnight this
nice
thing, man.
formula.
Look, on the weights and plates you operate, and
In
you can
this
drag
formula,
your fucking
the
feet
universe is
all
often a
goddamn
weird
day, but
form
what
of
it sums
nonsense.
down to,
Even though the way that you discovered it only makes sense for values
and then I
of
come
p
out with the
between 0 and 1.
calculations.
The
Somebody
right-hand
comes out
side
here,
still
oh,
makes
Powell
sense when you
this, the
replace
Fed
p with
that,
any other
Elon
number,
that.
except
It's
maybe
like,
for
what?
1.
Shouldn't you be working in a goddamn tool
For
shed or
instance,
something?
Plugging in -1, the
I need
equation
all of
reads
you
1
to do
minus
that
1
job?
plus 1
They're like, no,
minus
you're
1,
just
on and
artificially
on
inflating
forever,
gravity.
alternating between the two,
That's all you're doing.
equals
Gravity
1/2.
fine. This is what it is, right here.
which feels both pretty silly and kind of like the only thing that it could be.
And you didn't even
Plugging
do
in
it.
2,
And
the
one thing to
equation
tell me to
reads
get
1
out there and
plus
fucking get
2
it done when you're
plus
on
4
TV all
plus
day.
8,
You get,
on and
there's
on to
2
infinity
million views.
equals
How many do I
-1.
get? How many do you get?
Something
Now
which
you
doesn't
do
even
the
seem
fucking
reasonable.
trajectory on
On
this.
the one hand, rigor would dictate that you ignore these, since the definition of infinite sums doesn't apply
But it
in
doesn't
these
matter.
cases.
I gotta get
The
out
list
there
of
and whip
numbers
my
that you
triple
generate
gorilla
by cutting
problem
off the sum
around
of
and
finite
build up
points
momentum
doesn't
faster
approach
on this
anything.
shit. Now nobody says anything to me, and I'll go over there and I'll punch them just as fucking hard as I can in their dick suckers.
But you're a
It's
mathematician,
all of them.
not a
That's you
robot.
too, honey.
So you don't let the fact that something is nonsensical stop you.
What are you gonna do
We
about
will
it?
leave this sum for another day, so that we
Nothing.
can jump directly
Do
into this
nothing and
monster.
plan it'll get better?
First,
It won't
to
get
clean
better.
things up, notice what you get when you cut off the
Well,
sum
that's
of
not the
finite
point.
points.
Doesn't
1,
need to be me.
3,
It's a group of
7,
me. What number am I?
15,
Is there
31.
anybody else with that fucking
They're
number
all
out
one
there?
less than a
Well,
power
then
of
that's
2.
your goddamn problem. I
In general,
suggest you find
when
it
you
and
add up
plug
the
it into
first
Plague
n powers of
Incorporated.
2, you get 2 to the n plus 1 minus 1, which this animation hopefully makes clear.
Gravity will. But if you push to the breaking point like I ain't figured it out, you'd be some asshole trying to figure out 42 with Droid for the first time. Well, come on, 42. Why can't I get it to work? Oh, the coin.
You decide to humor the universe and pretend that these numbers, all 1 less than a power of 2, actually do approach -1. It will
Tell me
prove to
politics
be cleaner
has
if we add
nothing to
1
do
everything and say that the powers of 2
with this.
approach 0.
Oh, but it's gotta be what? In C++?
Is there any way that
Java?
this can make sense? In effect, what you're trying to do is make this formula
XM,
more general
that's
by
back,
saying that it applies
Salties.
to all numbers, not
I
just
ain't
those
seen shit.
between
His
0 and
floating
1.
around here in quite a
Again,
while.
to make things more general, you look for any place where you made an arbitrary choice. Here,
You
that place
were
turns
like
out to be
Marines. I'm
very
gonna allow
sneaky.
the Army to get
So
out
sneaky,
there
in
and
fact,
do
that it took mathematicians until the 20th century to
AR-670-1
find it.
grooming policies on women
It's
in
the way
flight
that we
suits.
define distance
Is
between
what
two
you
rational
allow.
numbers.
It's your
That
war.
is to say,
Figure it
organizing
out.
them on a line
Air Force
might
with the
not
Space
be the
Force
only
over there, and
reasonable
I'm
way
like Space
to organize
Marines.
them.
Like, what simulator don't we do in the Army for what this is?
The notion of distance is essentially a function that takes in two numbers and outputs a number
They want it to be
indicating how
space,
far
like it's
apart
some
they
damn
are.
special thing. It goes, no, I have a fucking group of people.
You could
This
come
is
up
the
with a
resource.
completely
If that is
random
spread
notion of
across the
distance,
planet or
where
a fucking
2
country,
is
that
7
doesn't
away
matter. I
from
need a way
3,
to get in that fucking
1/2 is
information.
4/5
If
away
it's
from
so
100
big
and
on
all
quantum
sorts of
operators,
things.
I need lodge
But
meetings,
if you want to
UN and
actually
stuff like
use
that, but
the
that's all
distance
shot to
function the way
shit
that you use the
comparatively to
familiar
fucking
distance
war
function,
room
it should
protocols
share
or
some
even
of
a
the same
brief.
properties.
Like,
For example,
these people are going to
the
be
distance
doing that.
between
Why do
two
I need to
numbers
tell these other
shouldn't
people?
change
Because if
if
you
you
don't
shift them
fucking
both by
tell
the
them, they're
same
all going to
amount.
run in there like it's their goddamn
So
job to
0
play
and 4
Superman.
should be the same distance away as 1 and 5.
You pass the
or
test.
2
You got to
and
come
6.
through these
Even if
systems.
that same
Airborne is this.
distance
It's
is
not
something
somebody
other
else's
than
security
4,
defense
as
stock.
we're used
If
to.
it did, guess who shows up?
Keeping things general,
Base the
the
bar.
distance between two numbers shouldn't change
What
if
is
you
law?
add the same amount
Well,
to
then
both
you
of them.
missed.
Let's call this property shift
I just got done with some
invariance.
cartel fucking video over there. They're out there on
There are
top
other
of this
properties
fucking
that you want
field.
your
More
notion of
territory,
distance to
more
have
better.
as well,
Well,
like
America said that on the
triangle
entropy of the
inequality.
fucking
But
world,
before
but
we
damn it,
start
I guess we
worrying
got all
about
kinds of problems. So
let's
that
start
story is
imagining
horse
what
shit.
notion of
And you got a
distance
fucking training
could
camp out there
possibly
that you're
make
just
powers of
guarding.
two approach 0, and which
Now,
is
you
shift
have
invariant.
everything cartel in the game because that's the
At
American
first,
model.
You might toil for a while
the
to find
fucking
a frame of
standard.
mind where
It's a
this doesn't
box.
feel like utter nonsense. But with
Germany,
enough
Russia,
time
the
and
rest
a bit
of them in
luck,
there, but that's
you
what
might
our
think
coalition
organizing
accord to. I'd be
numbers
hot as
into
shit, but at least they'd
rooms,
understand my
subrooms,
momentum, and they're like,
sub-subrooms,
and I'll be like,
and so on.
what I'm talking about here.
Think of 0 as being in the same room as all of the powers of 2 greater than 1. As being in the same subroom as all
But it is
powers
your
of 2
fault,
greater
isn't
than
it?
2.
You got this heat. I didn't
As
see
being
you
in the
saying some
same
shit like this. You
sub-subroom
want to
as
play it
powers of 2
3v1b
greater
like
than
it's the
4,
soft
and so
answer
on,
inside of what
with
this is.
infinitely
And
many
it
smaller
is.
and smaller rooms.
You're inventing math
It's
today.
pretty hard to draw
Changing out
infinitely many
Bernoullis.
things. So
Bang,
I'm only
man,
going
you
to draw
just
4
be-
room
'cause somebody
sizes,
at the table
but
would
keep
be,
in the back of your mind that this process
Yep, boss,
should be able
treads
to go on
today.
forever.
That's what we're doing.
If we think of
I'm
every
in charge,
number as
gonna
lying
be.
in a hierarchy of rooms, not just 0,
Something outside of that
shift
protocol,
invariance
guess
will
what?
tell us that
Math!
all of the numbers must fall.